What was your take on the R&B group Troop?
Troop was a group that sounded very good. I mean, I liked what they had brought to the forefront.
Now, Big Daddy Kane, one of the best lyricists ever to touch a microphone. Explain, the significance of Big Daddy Kane within hip-hop and the MC.
Big Daddy Kane, one of the members of the Juice Crew that was being introduced through all Bismarck shows. Bismarck, when he first came out with his record, he used to always open up with Big Daddy Kane. And he opened up with Big Daddy Kane, gave Kane a chance to show what he can bring to the table on a microphone. And when he did that record, Rhyming with Biz, it opened the doors even more. So by the time Kane came out, he was like, everybody looked at him for his style, his grace, his everything about it. He had the looks, he had the presence, he had everything.
Right, because if I was an MC, that's one MC I wouldn't want to battle.
And Kane was a person that, if you listen to the way, whatever he was relating about after what he'd written, he had a lot on his mind. He was thinking deep.
Rakim. Take your time.
How to explain about a brother like that, where he to me, I felt he was always ahead of his time when he first came out. To me, to this day, between him and Eric B, I feel they made, to this day as we speak, the best hip-hop album ever made.
Paid in full.
Kumo D. I used to call him the Farrakhan of rap, because when he go up there and when he relate, he speaks out. It may not making the statements that's similar to Farrakhan, but he damn sure making you paying attention to what he's saying.
LL,
the longest lasting hip hop recording artist to this day, outlasts everybody from ever since the beginning. Showed that he can go through the test of time and still stand out as an artist, as an actor, as a person.
KRS-One,
the teacher, the person that know how to bring it to the forefront, the person that know how to bring it to the stage, to bring it to recording, the person that, in reality, if you don't go see a KRS-One show, you're not going to see, you missing out on something you're supposed to know.
MC Lyte,
dominant female factor, where a lot of people had doubts of her coming up. Even I admit in my beginning when I first heard her, I had doubts of her, and she has shown and proven the point that she's here to stay, but she's still demanding today.
Public Enemy,
the voice of what we all needed for within the inner cities all throughout the country, if not in fact all throughout the world. Chuck D, he is what you would say would be like a Farrakhan, Homeboy was like, speaking his mind, speaking the truth. So many threats was thrown at them, but it never stopped them.
Now explain to me that period when the West Coast starts to make noise with Ice-T, 6 in the Morning, World Class Wrecking Crew, Turn Off the Lights, and the birth of NWA. You had the Dream Team and various West Coast acts trying to break through.
West Coast, when they was making their music, they was making them according to their beliefs of it and how they live. They don't have the same livelihood like we have in the East Coast. They got a different lively standard of how they was brought up, how they living. So whatever they hear or whatever they feel is what they going to produce and bring out. When Ice-T came out at 6 in the morning, he was relating upon what is it that he was living around there. When you have various other people that start relating upon, what was going on out there is the gang banging at that time.
So basically, it was the main reason why Strata Compton about NWA frightened so many people, because they kept it real. They talked about where they were from and the various things that they saw all out South Central and Compton.
In the beginning, in the East Coast in New York, we had our gangs, and there was little gangs in and out from there. But the heavy gangs back in the 70s and such is something that was outgrown, and part of the former hip-hop culture ranged from the gang era. And for out there in the West Coast, they was gang banging for a long period of time. And, if you ain't going to go ahead and start rapping, what they going to rap? No more than what is it they living.
Now, what was your take when NWA was on the map, and then, of course, Ice Cube left NWA over a money dispute, went solo, put out America's Most Wanted, then Dr. Dre left, and then went with Death Row to put out The Chronic?
That was, I can only say, differences that they don't even know upon themselves or whatever they was going through. But, you know, everything is for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when The Chronic came out, they said that was the landmark album for the West Coast, because prior to that, it was like West Coast was getting little or no play on the East Coast. But when The Chronic came out, that was like the crossover record that put the West Coast on the map.
Yes, it had, because, you know, what Dre did, he brought his style out more to the forefront. Even though people acknowledge his style, what he did with NWA, but with The Chronic, it seemed like he stepped up his production to another level, and it was being accepted for all across the country.
And was it around that time period when The Chronic came out that people started to really take notice? They used a lot of funk samples like Parliament, Zap, basically people of the funk era.
Which they was doing all along. They was always using all them samples, but I think by, you know, when he came out with The Chronic, that really started letting them acknowledge it more and more, the way he had, you know, produced using them sounds.
Tupac,
oh man.
It's your time. Take your time.
True lyricist, true writer. You know, he was definitely himself.
Do you think, like, you know, with the whole East Coast, West Coast thing, that definitely could have been prevented and Big and Pop would be alive today?
More likely, yes, because for the fact that when, you know, you got so many people behind a certain individual standing up for certain things, they taking it out of, you know, out of content, you know, making it bigger than what it is, you know, and it's unnecessary, because to this day, I always keep on saying, we don't own where we live. You can always represent where you live, but you don't own where you live. So you got to fight for where you live, where here it is. You fighting for how you trying to live every day. So why would you want to fight somebody somewhere else when you going through a fight of how you trying to survive where you living at every day?
Now, when Biggie came out with Ready to Die, that was around the time when New York was getting back on the map, you know, and Diddy was just doing his thing with Bad Boy. It was in its infancy, because originally I believe Biggie was signed to Uptown, but when Diddy got fired by Andre Herrera, he took Biggie over with him to Bad Boy, and they got a deal with Arista, like distribution, I believe.
Right. Here it is. Biggie, when he came out, it was very refreshing at that time that, you know, I think, you know, everybody wasn't really seeing who was losing ground as far as East Coast, West Coast, wherever town it was. Because before Biggie, you still had a lot of other people that was being acknowledged. You know, you had Nas up and coming, you had the Brand Nubians, you had various, Pete Rock, CL Smooth, you had various people at that time. It's just that when Biggie came, it was the next era. It was something new and refreshing. It's just like saying, once upon a time, everybody look at Kobe. Now here comes LeBron.